This is Half-Earth Socialism, a little game based on a book with the same title. Sadly, the music options are or the sound options are quite limited, so you can only have sound on or off. There's no in between. And I had to turn down the specific sound for the game in my volume mixer. I hope that works properly. So you will hear sounds now that I make the new game. And I guess it's not as loud as my voice. I made it quite quiet. So in 2022 a socialist revolution swept the globe. The regions of the world united to establish Gosplant, a global planning authority. Gosplant, I guess that's what it's called, was tasked with undoing the myriad harms that centuries of capitalism had unleashed on the planet and its people. You have been elected as Gosplant's first lead planner. It's your duty to bring warming to below 1 degree, the extinction rate to below 20 and emissions to below 0, while there's still time. You must do so without letting people's contentedness dip below 0. Otherwise they will vote you out of office. And you must do so without letting your political capital dip below 0. Otherwise your adversaries may take the opportunity to replace you. It's a sunny day in Havana, where the first planning session will take place. So that's the situation right now. People are content for some reason. Biodiversity is suffering, the world is still warming, Parliament is ready to work with you. You have 60 years left in your tenure. I wonder if I can work until 2082 actually. Welcome, you seem to know your way around here, so I'll just get out of your way. I guess that's what I will do. And if there's anything unclear, I will explain it myself. I found the tutorial quite irritating, and the game is still a bit irritating, I think, with some interruptions. So I have to use the scroll wheel to see everything. Otherwise the game wouldn't properly fit, and also I can't really set any resolution here. I can only resize the window myself, and then it's quite random where it lands. So this is the political capital that I have. I guess that's the actual time on my computer. That's not my location. And yeah, extinction rate is quite high. This should not be high. Contentedness is at, I guess, 80%, and this should remain high enough. And the temperature anomaly is at unbelievable 1.1 degrees above the pre-industrial levels, I guess. Then we also have a government which weirdly consists of mostly socialist people, but I guess also some not so friendly people. There are authoritarians and Malthusians, accelerationists and consumerists, which I don't particularly like all. And I guess whenever I start the game, this parliament is randomly put together out of these factions with each 3 to 5 people. And I've learned to know the Fenonist as a very good political faction. And of course the animal liberationist, ecofeminist, environmentalist and utopian are mostly on my side. These are the statistics at the moment. And one can choose to show how these statistics come about. Like for instance, biodiversity is severely impacted by industrial crop agriculture and industrial livestock agriculture. Would also assume that it's impacted by other things, but here it mostly shows farming related things. And that's what electricity is used for. And so on. I guess these are the uses and not the production. And down here I can see this more concretely. I don't know which unit this uses. This is 84 of something. 84 fuel, and some of which is for industry and road transport and other purposes. Hello, Lily. I guess these might even somehow be related to those Pokemon things. I mean, it's a card game, what I'm doing right now. I can show you the cards in a moment. We also have world icons or world regions. They use very pixelated images that are actually real images. And I guess if I were to look at the images more in a different way, then I could also see who made the image. But yeah, I guess I'll just go to the planning phase. So there are cards, and I can basically spend political capital that then will be converted to research points. I can do that, for instance, with cellular meat, which I will research right away. And this unlocks a few things, although I'm not really sure whether I would need that necessarily, but I guess it helps. Also, floating wind turbines are nice, and green hydrogen is very important because that's the only fuel that is somewhat green. Probably also batteries. And hempcrete is concrete made with the help of hemp. And I will never choose nuclear fusion because that will only be 30 years away, but it will always be 30 years away. Or I guess that's how it's interpreted in the game. And then there are a few research things that I'm not sure whether they will help me right now. The good thing is that the game is based on real climate models. At least they have some kind of real climate model in the game, and that is then used between the planning phases to see what actually would happen if I did that. And now I can choose some curriculums and other policies. I will choose Animal Liberationist. And Ecofeminist. Environmentalist. Not sure if I want to do that right now. It would definitely help a bit, but maybe there are other ways to get to veganism very fast. The feminist is important. Those are basically active in favor of the global south, or the so-called global south. I guess marine protected areas are nice. This helps a lot with biodiversity and a little bit with emissions. And then there are these two options which would either lead to more work or less work for people. That can make people suffer a bit more or be a bit more happy. And this would also reduce the amount of resources used. And I would personally advise to do that in reality as well, to make a basic income and let everyone choose when and how much they work. And I think it should be more profitable, sort of, to do something in favor of society and ecology. Some of these infrastructure projects take a long time, so 15 years. But it's good to start them right away, even though they will take some time. So this will reduce the emissions by 9. Currently they are, I guess, at about 40. I can always go back and look at the stats. Yeah, current emissions are at 43 gigatons per year of CO2 equivalents, I guess. And also down here I can see what the land use would look like when I implement what I currently do, and what the emissions would look like. I haven't yet done anything to the production. That's something I need to also consider. I guess I will just have one research point in there. Green hydrogen is more important. And now I need to think what I will use from these things. I guess composting is a nice thing, but I'm not sure if I need that right away. Battery storage network will help with renewable energy. Carbon negative concrete is nice. Cloud brightening is more like a last minute solution, but I guess it would be nice anyway if that doesn't have any negative consequences. And it will only be ready in 10 years, so in 10 years I get a quick reduction of my global temperature by 0.25 degrees. I guess I might just do compost now and see where it gets me. The controls are a bit janky. I wonder if I can use the up button. Don't think so. Can also click on the cards and see more information. So this would basically replace fossil fuel cars with electric cars. I'm in favor of that, but of course it would be nice to replace like 10 fossil fuel cars with a maximum of 1 electric car, and do especially more with public transit, for instance. Recycling is good. Yeah, the game is really good and it's free on Steam if you ever want to play it. And I guess you could even play it in a browser, but it didn't work for me. I want to have indigenous sovereignty. And pedestrian and bike-friendly cities. And now I only have 5 political capital left, so I need to make sure I don't waste that, or... I don't need to use all of it, but it would be nice to start everything somehow. This ban outdoor cats, I guess that would be contested by many people, but I guess it would help. There are a lot of people complaining about how birds are killed a lot by wind turbines, but actually I guess cats and other wild animals kill birds even more, and of course humans kill a lot of birds. And especially by eating and also by making nature disappear. Cutting down forests and such things. This would probably immediately reduce the biodiversity pressure. Oh yes, that's some information. The cats kill 1.3 to 4 billion birds in the US alone. Keeping cats indoors will help preserve avian and reptilian biodiversity and protect the cats from cars and coyotes too. Yeah, I guess they also decrease the cat's life expectancy. And I guess if they are not neutered, they might get more, and then it's even more difficult to deal with all the cats. So I will like to do one more infrastructure thing. There are a few things that I try to stay away from for some time. I guess this takes a long time to implement, I'm not sure. Maybe I will rather have expand nature preserves. So this will mean 30% of the land is under protection. Just want to check if all the other good things are selected already. I guess more things will be selected next time. And I would like to have these two things as well. Maybe I can undo one of those things here. And there will certainly be some unhappy people with whatever I do. Sadly. Maybe I'll just wait to the next session. But I have to change production now. This is basically how different parts of the economy work, or what kind of energy they use. And I will go down with petroleum power generation, with, I guess, coal power generation. And the bad thing about this is you can't easily have a certain amount of going down or going up, because the amount of, or the speed goes, accelerates, and then it's difficult to control. It would be nice if you could just control that a bit more easily. I'm not sure if I want to do geothermal. Also seems to be bad for biodiversity. Seems like there is a lot of opportunity for hydropower, but that's generally not a good idea. for humans and for nature. I'm not sure whether I should go into nuclear. It would help a bit with some power demand, but I don't want to do too much of it. Most power generation should happen with solar and wind. And I guess natural gas power generation will also go down. And I think this game is still quite limiting in terms of how you can expand your power. You always have to go to 100%. You can't just build more than 100% of power. And then I'm not even sure if that is producing enough for all the demand, because sometimes it doesn't. So for instance, it says this process is intermittent, which is of course the case. So if you have more solar or photovoltaics or wind energy, you can't always have energy. And now fuel. At the moment we don't really have a good option. Biofuels, of course, uses a lot more land to farm something like, I guess, corn or other plants for making biofuel. I would go down with coal. And at the moment I would do blue hydrogen, which basically uses gas and stores the carbon dioxide away. That would be made as well next to the hydrogen. I'll just go down to 0 with petroleum, or maybe to 3. I think it wouldn't go down as fast as I would want to. Sadly, it doesn't really show how fast it can go down, because it always takes a few planning sessions for this to actually go to where you wanted it. Natural gas will also go down a bit. And then I will do more blue hydrogen for now. And maybe one more biofuel, but that's just temporary. At some point I will go all the way down with the biofuels. Then we have crops. I like to go down with the industrial crop agriculture. So for some reason the organic crop agriculture takes more energy. I guess it's generally more demanding. Also probably in terms of land to produce the same amount of crops. For now I will do more smallholder farms, basically just people who do some farming. And some vertical farming as well, which does less biodiversity pressure, has less land use, but has more energy use. And I'm not quite sure how to deal with this, since organic is basically the same as industrial, just with a nice stamp on it. I hope to just make the world vegan in a very short amount of time. But I might do this transition anyway in the meantime. So right now there is 73, I don't know, meat units or something. Don't really know. I guess this is kind of not supposed to be like that in the game. The good thing is that the game is open source, so I think I would like to at some point try to do something with this game and maybe make it more playable. Yeah, output is nice. If it's good output. I guess this is where it's produced. I don't know why it's red. And I'm not sure why it's... Okay, there's a dollar sign. Or there are dollar signs. This probably means where the people are richer at the moment. Even though there's a socialism now, it is still an uneven society. Okay, now the emissions projection has gone down, or has reloaded a bit. So also it would be nice to have actual numbers here. And also at some point I might have negative emissions, and that is even less clear, because I guess 0 is the bottom line there. Of course, with land use you can always only be between 0 and 100%, except if you have, I don't know, space colonies or something, then you might go over 100%, but with emissions there should be the ability to show negative numbers. When nature accepts more pollution than you can emit. So I guess now I will conclude this planning phase. And now we see developments happening to Earth. Wildfires, as we are already used to, sadly. They are growing in frequency and severity. We have to lower temperatures quickly and introduce natural solutions to manage this problem. And there are funny little icons for all the people that are talking, for instance the climatologist. So now there are wildfires in Central Africa, that's quite sad. Flooding. I don't know where flooding is happening. Maybe it's only shown after these intros. Once in a decade, heavy rains have now become commonplace, leading to overflowing rivers capable of destroying hundreds of homes. If you can do anything to lower the temperature, we should see fewer of these events. Okay, that's the animal liberationist curriculum that I chose. The new curriculum instills children with a sense of compassion for all human and non-human animals. The students have organized a local group to implement multi-strata agroforestry. Will you support them? Sure. Multi-strata agroforestry is a system for various types of crops to benefit each other, while also being a place where people of different ages and professions can work together. This is the ecologist, not to be confused with the environmentalist or the climatologist. Interesting. People are learning about their local ecology and finding better ways of interacting and relating to the life around them. So that's the Fanonist. It's vital for each generation to discover its mission and to fight for it. More cetaceans and pinnipeds have been spotted. Okay, yes, I have marine protected areas now. my recycling posters were inspired by Neurath's isotopes. Where would we be today without him? Hello, Pichu. I guess the current background doesn't really show the names properly, but I guess when the background changes we will see it. Not much actually has happened in these few years. Is this real? Or is this... I'm not sure if you're trolling me, Pichu, but I would accept a 69-day or 69 stream watching streak. Very cool of you. So I get 44 more political capital. Still have post-revolution optimism. Emissions have gone down a little bit. I don't know if I can... It would be really nice to see the previous extinction rate rather than this showing me both the current extinction rate. Just having a bar with 5 slots isn't really helpful. But also this planning phase only took 3 years. And now we are in Ouagadougou, I guess. Biodiversity is still suffering. The world is still warming. Parliament is ready to work with you. You seem like someone who loves nature. You also seem like someone who still recognizes that we are not trying to drive ourselves to extinction just to save it. It's all about harmony, for some reason. We gotta find a way to live harmoniously with nature. Anyway, my party is joining your coalition since I think we feel the same way. The environmentalist is now an ally, restoration projects are substantially cheaper, and hempcrete will be available earlier. The feminist is following my planning for some time now and sees that I have interests, the interest of the world at heart. And by world I do mean the whole world and not just the wealthy regions like some mean with that term. My party is happy to join your coalition. I hope that together we can undo at least some part of centuries of injustices. Okay, yeah, the contentedness of the lower and lower middle income regions will recover more quickly. I guess now I have the opportunity to do degrowth in the developed regions. Do you mean these energy icons? I guess there's no fuel icons in Pokemon, or is there? I can expect these stars being there. And maybe this poison skull thingy. Have you been to our Havana offices? Well, the parts of the world that have joined the Half-Earth Socialist bloc all provide data, technical expertise and proposals to the Central Planning Bureau in Cuba. Why Havana? Havana has had the most experience with planning, decarbonization and organic agriculture, so I guess it made sense to put the bureau there. What do you do there? Oh, it's just me. It isn't just me, I mean. Thousands of people work there from all over the world. We have supercomputers to make a series of global plans simulating snapshots of the future, say 5 detailed blueprints of the planet 5 years out, 10 for the coming decade and a couple dozen for the next quarter century. Yeah, I guess it's cool that they are inspired by the Pokemon game. I mean, this is still a card game in some sense, but it's not yet an optimal game. And I guess I have to do some work to develop it further. It's not my game, but it's open source, so I would like to do some quality of life changes. I feel like we have a similar vision for the world, says the Utopian. My party will commit its seats to our shared vision and join your coalition. Before I go, let me leave you a favorite quote from William Morris. Go back again, now you have seen us, and your outward eyes have learned that in spite of all the infallible maxims of your day, there is yet a time of rest in store for the world, when mastery has changed into fellowship. I look forward to working together. Okay, limits, protection and restoration projects are cheaper and the world contentedness has increased, or I don't know when this increase happens, but that will happen, I guess. So we now have, I guess, 3 factions of these in our favor. I still need to win the favor of the animal liberationist and the eco-feminist. I have to check the numbers. I guess then we would be at 18, and 18 is the majority in a 33-seat parliament, or I guess 17 would also be that. Not really sure what this all means. I guess the displaying of these information or this information could be a bit improved. This probably means that currently we have 41.3 gigatons of emissions, and with all the plans that are in place right now it will go to 26.7, but land use would increase dramatically and power usage as well. So I will have to see what I can do about that. The geoengineer. We've got to do something about the rising temperature. I recommend throwing all our options we have at the issue. One of them has got to work. I guess I will do something, but maybe not all the things. So I want to do policies first. This is always the most important thing. And I need to be aware of how many points everything costs right now. I will start with Meatless Mondays. They will unlock vegetarian mandate and vegan mandate, and also abolish zoos and ban high seas fishing. All those things are important. I guess universal family planning is also a nice option, although the thing that it unlocks is not nice. I just want to allow everyone to plan. I guess now I could do ban outdoor cats. And sadly, I don't really have a lot of points left, so abolish prisons will happen later. I want to do more of these infrastructure projects and protection. Compost is already selected. I think it's difficult to see, but there is this green shimmer around things that I have already selected. I guess I could do the energy conservation campaign. Sad that it takes 30 years. I never tried Windows 3.1. Is that a server thing or is it a very old system? Sadly, the food waste campaign takes a lot of time. I would expect some education on that matter to be more effective in a short amount of time. I would like to do some research, but not sure if I rather would like to spend something on infrastructure. So this is also a game where you can make the game in the game. This is an eco-socialist video game, and the utopian is happy about that. Develop a video game where citizens can devise their own plans, regulating the global economy and natural world. People can debate, compare plans, and become involved in a lively socialist democracy. The authoritarian is against this, of course, and the utopian wants this. I guess I might do this, but also maybe I could do it later. There are probably a few more things that are more important at the moment. Okay, the first popular Windows OS. I guess I might do research on that later. I guess I only remember something like Windows 95, or I mostly used XP before the current versions. So this ocean iron fertilization is something the accelerationist wants, and it might totally be a disaster, I'm not sure. Dump iron into the oceans to simulate diatom growth, which might sequester 4 gigatons of CO2 a year. This technique might not work and it could have detrimental ecological effects. So that's not something I would like. So I guess I will do reconcile town and country. And also either this or that. I guess I will choose the restoration, remediate and protect ecosystems. I'll take a look at the font. Yeah, that might actually be the same. Not sure if the style is wanted by the devs. But yeah, I guess when I try to edit the game, I'm not sure if I will ever achieve that, but if I try, then I might also do something with the fonts. Maybe using Comic Sans would be nice. So this is a weird kind of projection, like the emissions will go down after a few years or something, and then at some point it will go up for a short time and then go down again. But I still need to change production here. So I started reducing the coal power generation, and the orange means that it's going down. Blue is what is already existing, and green is when it is supposed to be going up, but it might take a few more years for this to actually go up. It would be much nicer if it showed the percentage at the moment and also how fast it could go up at all. Petroleum power generation is also still, no, fuel usage is still very much there. I'm not sure whether that might just mean that there are still cars around that use the petroleum and therefore I can't really do anything about it. This process uses oil at current usage rates. The estimated supply is expected to last 42 years. Oh, there's a dinosaur icon. This process uses fossil fuels. And I always have to click that away again. So I guess I will not change much about these things. I have tried to convert all the industrial livestock agriculture to organic livestock agriculture. Sadly, I can't just totally phase it out. That would be the more reasonable attempt or position. I'm not sure how production is regulated in the context of the lore of this game. Like, can everyone just start a farm and keep animals, or could the state just intervene and say nobody can keep animals for exploitation? But I will just say ready, and then we will get the next 5 years. And maybe society will totally break down. So wildfires in Central Asia. New mosquito-borne disease. Reduces habitability in tropic regions. I'm getting reports of a novel mosquito-borne disease spreading quickly. They've always been troublesome parasites. Malaria kills hundreds of thousands of people per year. But in many parts of the world they weren't considered more than a nuisance. Now they are much more dangerous. The ecologist, warmer temperatures have been a boon for mosquito populations, so it was only a matter of time before this happened. Wildfires in northern Europe and flooding in somewhere. Sadly, that disappeared now. I mean the information about it, not the flooding. Indigenous sovereignty. Reduced deforestation has helped avoid a great deal of carbon emissions. So it's good to give people back their stuff and not be colonialist anymore. Not to mention that this recognition of sovereignty is long overdue. There's the feminist. Hempcrete is now available. So this will increase land demand, which I guess I'm already at above 90%. Hempcrete locked in fair amount of carbon. But there are a few applications where it can't compete with conventional concrete. We'll use it where we can, but it won't entirely replace old-fashioned concrete. Central Africa has gone up in economic activity, I guess. The income level has increased. I wonder whether they are still using money in this socialism. You can't really control the money a lot. The Earth Liberation Front has reformed. The icon is also funny. Planner, you're biased towards technology and industry is putting the world and yourself on a dangerous path. I'm not using technology so much. I mean, what should I do in this game? I can't really do much else. The Earth is calling for our aid, and so we, the Earth Liberation Front, have returned. You better abandon that cozy relationship with the accelerationist, or else we'll have to take drastic action to protect the planet. I'm already trying to do drastic action. Okay, another bad event. Oil pollution causes high infant mortality. A recent study compared siblings conceived before and after nearby oil spills and found that nearby oil spills double the neonatal mortality rate. Not only that, they also found that pollution is placing communities at heightened risk of kidney damage, as well as diseases such as cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. If we keep up the oil production, more and more communities are going to have to face this danger. Green hydrogen is now unlocked, so I might go get my fuel all the way from that. But it still will take time to get there, to get a 100% green hydrogen as fuel. Research and development improved electrolysis efficiency and built infrastructure. Hydrogen fuel can now be produced and transported on a mass scale without emissions. Coastal wetland protection and restoration. I think it's a great shame that eels and frogs don't get the same attention as polar bears and penguins. Isn't this now fixed? Our slimy friends should be much happier now, along with geese, deer, and all the life in and around these wetlands. Okay, the Auroch return to the Eurasian plains. Reduces emissions by 0.5 and reduces biodiversity pressure by 2. Okay, it went extinct, but it has proven possible to backbreed cattle and recover lost traits such as longer legs and horns. We call the breed Tauros because they are not true Aurochs, but pretty close. They will fill an important ecological niche in rewilding programs. This might be the last year in this planning phase. There have been disease outbreaks, but also now the feminist science and technology studies have been finished. We've been able to collect much more dynamic data about how the Earth is changing after establishing new kinds of studies. Meatless Mondays. I found it surprisingly easy to cut meat out of my diet once a week. I guess you should do that every day of the week. There are certain meals that feature meat that are important to me, and I would hate to lose them. Yeah, sad for you. I will stop you at some point. But cutting it out every once in a while feels reasonable to me. The consumerist says this feels like a slippery slope, and I can tell them that it is. What a relief that we finally have access to basic reproductive health care. I can't believe it took a literal revolution for that to happen. Ban outdoor cats. The ban on outdoor cats is going well. Wild to think how much damage those critters can do. Oh, that's nice. So, you can see now a very good chart. Well, I mean, the contentedness has gone down to 6 of 40. It was at, I don't know, it doesn't show what it was, but it was probably quite high at 40 or above. But the extinction rate has gone down. I'm not sure why I get negative points for that. The emissions have gone down drastically. And yeah, we have some diseases. Probably that might be the mosquito-borne disease. And some flooding and fire. So people are furious for some reason. I guess they don't like that I continue the revolution and actually make the world livable again. Biodiversity is struggling. I guess it was worse before. Parliament trusts you completely and the world is still warming. Oh, it looks like there are some production shortages. You may need to change your production mixes to compensate for resource limitations. You can tap the pulsing !alert icon for more information. The consumerist says, you are killing me with these plans. I wanted change, but this is ridiculous. My life has only gotten worse. I almost miss the days before the revolution. I guess this is a liberal middle extremist. I won't let you drag me down with you. The consumerist is now a nemesis. Did you know that maitake farmers are a vital part of the local food chains? It's almost as if a whole economy has come out of the burnt ruins in which the mushrooms grow. You seem like someone who understands this, so my party is willing to join your coalition. Would you be interested in foraging for mushrooms? Of course. It will be my life's passion. We welcome you. Thank you. Food, agriculture and protection projects are now cheaper. Okay, this is weird. So the land use alternates a lot. I don't know how and why that happens. Emissions also alternate very weirdly. I don't know what that's about. I might go into production and see what I can do there. I want to definitely go up with the green hydrogen and maybe instead go down with the petroleum. And also the blue hydrogen will not go up any further for now. It will even go down, possibly. And the green hydrogen will go all the way up. Crops. I guess we are at the limit for smallholder farms and vertical farming. Electricity. Coal power generation is still in the phase of going down. I guess I want to reduce natural gas power generation. Maybe short term in favor of hydropower. natural parks are beautiful, but are you taking up land? What? But are taking up land, a lot of land these days? I'm not sure if there should be a comma somewhere. I don't really like these interruptions that just pop up at some point. We'll have much less land for food, especially livestock. Are you sure conservation is worth the cost? I think so. So what can I do? I guess right now I don't really have to do much here. And I will have to do policies soon, but I will go on a short break right now. Okay, I'm back. And I guess I have a lot of points to spend now, 449, and also 23 research points. I might spend one more point in green container ships right now. Also these third generation biofuels, a bit advanced ecosystem modeling. Also I will do BECS probably, which is I guess growing a lot of trees and then burning the trees and storing the carbon dioxide somewhere. I will read your message now. Silently, I guess. Not good with long texts. Okay, so apparently there is biodiesel that doesn't compete with food. I wonder how much that would be if it would be done at large scale. How much area that would then take away, or if that would just still be byproducts of the food we eat. I mean, there's also still a lot of palm oil we use as humans, and I guess palm oil is more efficient than other oils that humans can produce somewhere for food purposes. But I guess also palm oil is used in certain biofuels. I'm not sure where exactly. But yeah, the BECS is first you grow the plants, then you burn them for power and capture the emissions to store underground permanently. It takes up a lot of land, but it's a way to get both negative carbon emissions and power generation. So I will just research that now. I'm not sure if I will actually implement that. Biofabrication, I guess that's basically biological plastic. Biosphere 3 is some artificial place to live. Closed system ecologies will be necessary if we want to explore deeper into space, or if the outside world becomes uninhabitable. Okay, this randomly changes the development time of the space colony. I will just do that. I have enough points at the moment. drought-resistant crops. And now I will do the eco-socialist video game and arc furnaces. More floating wind turbines. I guess they will be ready early enough. Long-range electric aviation. Okay, I can do all the researches a bit. And now policies. I guess I will go right into the vegan mandate. Goodbye, meat eaters and dairy consumers, and egg consumers and honey consumers. I guess I let them live, but they should just stop doing that. I will also restrict air travel and masculinity detox. Basically reduces demand for fuel or for cars and animal-based food. I wonder why this doesn't disappear when I have the vegan mandate and this as well. I guess this shouldn't be necessary. These should be gone when I have vegan mandate. Can crack down on crypto mining. Can do champagne socialism. This is basically luxury for everyone, which I think is okay if it's not costing anything. So banning hunting and fishing and animal trade and cars. I guess some people will hate me for that. And then I will abolish zoos and prisons. Goodbye. The benefits of rewilding reduces the likelihood of more zoonotic disease. Well, the emergence of zoonotic disease is closely related to ecological disturbance. Clearing of otherwise undisturbed land to make room for things like industrial farming opens up opportunities for the transmission of pathogens from animals to humans. I am in favor of automation, but I guess I might just invest 1 point into that, so it will take 20 years. I will research biochar, or I guess this produces or increases the production of biochar. Probably some biochar factories have to be made, I'm not sure. Okay, that's a mandate. Maybe the industry has to scale up in order to actually meet the mandate. Pichu, if you're still there, by 95%, do you mean Shell has 95% of the world market in renewable diesel, or do you mean of what Shell sells, it's 95% biological or renewable? I guess this is something I'm not sure about whether I understand it correctly. So I will also do this carbon capture and sequestration. Okay. take your time. I guess if you want, you can also put this in the Discord. But also, of course, here in chat. Mandate installation of point source carbon capture and sequestration on all fossil fuel using facilities to store CO2 underground. I wonder whether that's just to escape actual consequences. I mean, the Utopian is against this. But I think it's good to still do it, even but because I guess we will still have some kind of combustion and processes like that that produce CO2 in some cases, or in some form, and then this should be captured and transformed into a good thing. I guess it shouldn't be stored indefinitely underground. I guess that's not really possible. Cogeneration, I guess this creates heat as well as, let's see, install cogeneration systems in eligible structures and power facilities to generate electricity and heat at the same time, making use of otherwise wasted heat. Yeah, that's definitely good. I think, for instance, server farms or something like that should always get the heat somewhere to also power, or to reduce the need for power for heating in certain situations. So this is a very artificial way of reducing the emissions. I don't know if we need that right away. I might just invest 1 point. Energy conservation campaign might go much faster, please. And also public transit. Yeah, public transit. I just moved my mouse so far that it was outside of the window, and then I was afraid that it would do something else on my computer, so I had to check. Food waste campaign. I guess this is a campaign against food waste and not for food waste. Multi-strata agroforestry. I guess this passive building mandate is also important. Regenerative agriculture. And yeah, sewage treatment plants. I guess most of these things will not be done in the next 5 years, in the next planning phase basically. Okay, I will just check this over again. I guess I might invest 1 more point in electrify road vehicles. Then I will go back there. I might look at stats or at emissions here. So emissions go down, but then they wobble around. I'm not sure if there's anything I can do. Okay, there are production shortages for fuel and electricity. And for some reason it also says for animal calories, although I have a vegan mandate in place for the next planning session. I'm not sure when exactly that applies, that would be good to know. Yeah, I don't know how I could exactly affect this, but yeah. I will now read your message, Pichu. I wonder what the 75% less emissions compared to biodiesel means. Does this mean... So there's biodiesel and there's renewable diesel. I guess renewable diesel is the full biological thing and not the fossil thing. Okay, and biofuel is something different, I guess. Still, like, is that just the using the oil from plants? Okay, they blend it with 5% petrol. Yeah, that's like mixing milk into otherwise totally vegan things. Okay, B20 or something is 20% biofuel. And R100, would that be 100% renewables then? Okay. I guess these... Is this then some kind of e-fuel, or... I mean, it's made from plants, probably, and not from hydrogen. It's not like using hydrogen and doing something with that. Luckily, e-fuels aren't even an option here. So I guess we will suffer from some production shortages in the next 5 years, but that's fine. People should just shut up about using fossil fuels. So there are still wildfires and disease outbreaks. Cellular meat has now been researched. We've figured out enough of the technical hurdles to start producing cellular meat on a large scale. I guess that is not even necessary anymore, but I guess in some edge cases, I don't know, maybe if you... I guess even cats could be fed with vegan meat, some at least. So you don't even really need to produce cellular meat. It just doesn't hit the same way as real meat, that's what the consumerist says. I just hope the eco-freaks don't try to ban cows next. Well, I have made a vegan mandate, I hope you get to grips with that. Compost is completed. Old scraps are transformed through practices of care and attention into nutrient-rich new soil. What a great metaphor for how we can survive this era. Brownouts. So we do have brownouts apparently in some regions. We're having a really hard time keeping the power flowing. There's just not enough reliable power to go around. you ought to figure out some way to bring more stability, maybe changing where we get our power from, or reducing energy consumption, or increasing the battery network. Yeah, I'm doing that, I guess. Just takes time. So brownouts and blackouts in a lot of parts in the world. So expanding nature preserves, very great. But quite a lot of land is still left exposed. Maybe we ought to consider stepping it up a bit. I'm happy that there's more outdoors for me to hike in and enjoy, says the environmentalist. I guess that's not the whole point of it. The idea of half-Earth socialism is basically that half of the Earth is given back to nature. And this kind of rewilding and letting nature just live is an inherent part of making the world survive. High-density batteries have now been completed. Batteries are a tricky thing. They have heavy and material. They have. This probably should be more like they are heavy and material intensive. So when I fix this game, I will also fix typos, I guess. But we figured out a few ways to make them more economical and lighter too. That means we can use batteries in a lot of places that we couldn't before. So expand recycling is quite nice. Increases contentedness by 10 and reduces biodiversity pressure by 3. I'm not sure if that's actually what would happen in real life, but yeah. The new global recycling program has helped keep plastic out of the ocean as well as other ecosystems. It also made the world a bit nicer to live in for humans. And the elderly folks in my town love hanging out around the drop-off facilities, making sure people put the correct recyclables in the right bin. R80, okay. Yeah, that's always the difficult point about fossil fuels, or also the question whether you drive further away to buy something a little bit more ecological. I guess if it's vegan, that's good, and if you don't have vegan stuff around you, but I have relatives who drive like over 60 kilometers somewhere just because they want to pretend that the food from there is a little bit better, instead of just buying it in the local discounter. So now cloud brightening has been done. This means the temperature will be reduced temporarily, I think. I'm not sure if this will actually stop the increase drastically. So far we've seen a modest decrease in temperatures. I don't know how long it will last though. It might just mask the overall temperature increase. We've worked out several of the technical issues that made floating wind turbines difficult, so now they have been researched. They still require quite a bit of maintenance and repair, but it's good to have more options for energy production. I guess I will use those then. Ash dieback. Oh, that's a planet, not the... I mean a plant, not the material ash. The fungus has been spreading across Europe, killing 80% of ash trees. This has had a catastrophic impact since ash trees are a keystone species. Insects, lichen, mollusks and birds all rely on them. How did this happen? The pathogen was able to spread rapidly due to the industrialization of the nursery trade in Europe. Does this mean having a lot of trees artificially in the same place? Taking plants out of their native habitat and packing them in large quantities for container shipping is a recipe for the globalization of plant disease. I can imagine that. So more blackouts and brownouts and flooding and wildfires. And that's quite sad. The mountain gorilla has been declared extinct. This is a betrayal of our primate family and a wound that can never be healed. So now we have finished making an eco-socialist video game. Even though this game already existed, I'm just playing it. It unlocks the Esperanto project, which basically, I guess, lets everybody learn Esperanto and then everybody is more happy. This game is not only fun, but I learned about the... what? There's another larger typo. But I learned about the interdependencies between the economy and biosphere. One day I want to become a planetary planner just like you. Gaia worship. How does this happen? This event is influenced by biodiversity pressures, and this event can occur if the ecofeminist is your ally. That's nice. People are abandoning the old religions and are turning instead to Gaia. A lot of people are unhappy about the blackouts and brownouts. I guess they should have started earlier with the renewable energy and veganism then. So, multi-strata agroforestry is done. With the restoration of the Satoyama forests, students and senior citizens work with farmers to plant rice and clear irrigation channels. We call ourselves the Matsutake Crusaders. Our co-op has been working together to condition the forest for Matsutake mushrooms to thrive again. Nice. Reintroducing apex predators, more wolves, lions, cougars and other large predators means more livestock have been attacked. Well, that's why I have mandated you being vegan now. Battery storage network, that's I guess a different thing from the... I guess the other thing was something like heavy battery storage or something like that. This new battery network will help a lot with large-scale electrification and improve reliability, so I guess now brownouts and blackouts will be more rare. Vegan mandate. So I don't know why this reduces the world contentedness. Do you not want to live on this planet anymore? I don't really know why this is only 90%. I guess the game devs or the book that it's based on would have to explain this to me. I guess there might still be some backyard animal farming secretly, and I guess we wouldn't want to control everything, but well, I guess people who feed a lot of animals in their backyard or in their secret cellar would still have to buy a lot more food than they would otherwise do. These last few years have been miserable. Yeah, because of all the flooding, I guess, or the wildfires, or the disease. Sure, I get eating less meat, but banning it entirely. Can't we just figure out more sustainable and ethical ways to produce meat? No, we can't. This was long overdue, says the animal liberationist. I agree. Restrict air travel. I thought I would hate the inconvenience of not being able to fly, says the consumerist. But who doesn't like trains? Yes, trains are good. We are all soy boys now, says the consumerist. I guess some people are not boys. Crackdown on crypto mining. We've got a lot of extra graphics cards now, not sure what to do with them. I guess now gaming is a lot more easy for everyone. I guess we could recycle them, yes, with all the ones that we don't use. Champagne socialism. I know the guy who makes these beautiful wines, no sulfates, all natural. I don't know what you mean. We should go up to see his vineyard sometime. Ban non-indigenous hunting. I can't believe people ever made a sport of killing things. I guess things is quite abstract there. Should be more like living, feeling species. Okay, I will click on that image. I wonder, with this kind of earth roamer, would you live in that? It looks more like a house than a car, I guess. I could understand having a big car if you omit the house or something. I mean, I wouldn't mind living in a electric, self-driving tiny house and basically being able to visit other places of the world without having to leave my house. And I guess I would always have some kind of home base where I had a lot of solar panels installed, maybe next to farming areas, like doing agri-photovoltaics, and then charging up the car there, or basically swapping the accumulator or the battery. I'm really sad that battery swap isn't more appreciated. I guess this would require a lot of car companies to standardize their layouts a bit more. But I guess we need more planned economy and not 100 different car companies competing for weird people who want bigger cars and faster cars. Okay, I will now continue with the game instead of complaining. I guess the game is already complaining a lot. Glad we can finally get rid of this or that barbaric practice, yes. If you ask me, no one should be allowed to do it, no matter its cultural importance. I think that's an acceptable stance. Well, whether you agree with that or not, this is still a big improvement. Ban high seas fishing. I guess that's still not the total ban on fishing, but I can do that as well. The high seas fishing ban has had benefits, but they have been limited since less than 10% of global fish catch was on the high seas. Maybe we ought to consider a blanket ban on industrial fishing. I agree. Ban exotic animal trade. Finally, this moment couldn't come any sooner. How does one define exotic? My family has bred betters for many years. Now we are forced onto the black market. You could also just stop doing that. What are these betters? I guess they are some kind of exotic fish, from what I have researched. Okay. Yeah, just stop breeding exotic fish then. The success of this initiative will depend on our ability to offer equitable alternative livelihoods for people who work in the wildlife trade. Yeah, why not just introduce a basic income? Then nobody is forced to work doing shit. Ban cars finally has been introduced. There has been a rapid decline in fatalities from car accidents, which were on the order of millions of deaths per year. Air quality is better too. Why are you taking so many things away from me? I don't take them away from you. Climate catastrophe is doing that. So, and now we abolish zoos. We don't put people in cages anymore, so why do we still think it's okay for animals? I guess we just abolished that. Although, I mean, I guess the prison abolishment will come after that. I say good riddance to those horrendous institutions of suffering. Yeah, that's abolish prisons. It's wrong to lock people up in cages. As a socialist society, we can do better than this. I guess the authoritarian is against this for obvious reasons. If you do this, don't expect help when you need some brute force to back you up. Oh no. Oh yes, I mean, what? This is weird. I don't quite understand this. I mean, so the extinction rate has gone down, which is good. Contentedness has gone up, which is good. But emissions have gone up a lot. I wonder why. This isn't really easy to understand what has gone up and what not. So the total change in political... what was it? Political capital. Is negative, so we would be at a negative point there. But I guess there will be some kind of save that will happen. Let's just look. The fourth planning session. Okay, you have exhausted all your political capital. Your enemies will see this as an opportunity to push you out of government. Hold on, says the hero. I believe in your decisions. I'll vouch for you. My word matters a lot to this generation. I wonder whether, I mean, this means whether I get just 50 political capital or if I then land at 50 points. They should make that a bit more clear. That I get reset to 50. Wow. That was an important hero from the revolution. If they are vouching for you, then you'll have a bit more political capital to work with. But they can only help you this one time. So don't mess things up. Okay, biodiversity is recovering. People are ecstatic. I guess they are quite happy then. Yeah, it's so weird that people still put leather in cars. But I guess in terms of energy efficiency and not just producing heat, it would be better to have an electric kind of vehicle. But of course that has high upfront costs, I guess. But in the long term, I guess the power should be cheaper than fuel, especially if it can be generated yourself. Which is of course not so easy if you are not on the capital side of the world. A lot of people don't really have any land to put solar panels on. So now the authoritarian says you're digging your own grave. Your plans mean nothing if you let people's ignorance and impulsiveness run loose. Without force, we'll never save the planet. It's for the best. The authoritarian is now a nemesis. Good riddance. Now, I don't know when exactly the emissions are measured. Now, for instance, the emissions are at 2.8 gigatons. So I don't know, because the emissions were at something like 25. I got punished with a reset to just 50 political capital. And it's really weird. If I could fix this game, I would. I guess I could now do floating wind turbines. And I might take away some hydropower. And maybe some nuclear power. And then fuel. Green hydrogen is still not yet quite where it should be. So we will have some fuel issues, but I guess I banned cars, so that shouldn't be a problem. I'll do more organic crop agriculture because smallholder farms for some reason can't be built over that level. And livestock, I guess I could now go all the way away from organic livestock to cellular meat. But you could see this was previously at about 50 or 30 or something, and now it's only 2 and 5, so I guess the demand for animal calories has already decreased quite a lot, but I want the remaining animal calories to be produced by cellular meat. And now let's see what else we can plan. I don't have any research points left, but I can use my political capital to do some research. But maybe I don't have to do anything of these things. I guess I will look at policies. I'm not sure why I still can do flexitarian and factory farming reform. I'm not sure if I should do the accelerationist curriculum at the moment. I don't really need it. But that might help in certain situations. Continental smart grid would be good. Not sure how long this takes. Esperanto gets 2 points. I will also do green roofs. And phase out commercial fishing. I thought that would have to be a policy and not a infrastructure product. And then I will put a few more points in reconcile town and country. So this will also be done in the next planning phase. And solar radiation management is a really evil kind of thing. Use high-flying jets to release sulfur aerosols or other particles into the stratosphere, which will reduce incoming solar radiation and cool the planet. Think of it as an artificial permanent volcanic eruption. The consequences, however, are not fully understood. And this is basically only the idea of the consumerist and the accelerationist, and the utopian and the feminist and environmentalist are against it, so I guess it's a really bad idea. I guess especially in the book they also talk about this kind of measurement or measure. I might just put 1 point into this restored desert habitats. I guess because if deserts get greened, this might change the albedo of the desert to reflect less sunlight, and then things get hotter again. Maybe I will not do this therefore, and I might try something else instead. Might do more in passive building mandate. And now I can spend 1 more point somewhere. Probably the smart grid. It's sad that it still takes 13 years. But I think if I were to implement such a game, I would make it so that parts of this already are implemented and you don't have to wait all the way until it's 100% done. You could get like half of the benefits already after half the time or something. I guess now I will continue and hopefully I will not die. Okay, we have wildfires again. Carbon negative concrete has been made. We've seen modest CO2 emission reductions by adapting lower impact production processes. Expand public transit is finally done, after we have banned cars last time already. So I guess people had to miss out on some travel or transport opportunities. But I guess if we don't force people to work, then they have a lot less use for cars. So the city air feels fresher somehow, you know. I guess less people are driving now that public transit is so convenient. Well, I'm all for public transit, even though I don't use it myself. And these new systems are clogging up the roads and make driving a pain. I guess you can't drive anymore. I have banned cars. Yeah, some of these dialogues don't really look at what has been done before. Significant amounts of carbon was locked into human structures, but the increase in logging put a serious strain on forest ecosystems. I can imagine that. Okay, this increases biodiversity pressure, yes. At least it reduces emissions a lot, and I have other measurements, other measures to reduce biodiversity pressure. Animal husbandry takes up far too much room. Hard trade-offs must be made. Yeah, I reduced animal husbandry in form of animal agriculture. Green container ships, so I guess this is good. I don't know how they work exactly. Maybe they have sails or other new techniques. The rapid circulation of goods dropped after the revolution, but oceanic shipping is still a major activity. I'm happy to see it's a bit better for the planet now. Locust infestation. Interesting, but it's just reducing the plant-based food by 1%. They've eaten everything, blotted out the sun. I've never witnessed anything like it. It's as if hell had risen to earth. Few more wildfires happened. And now sewage treatment plants have been built. Sewage treatment plants are unglamorous but so vital in improving the quality of life for people and animals. Pedestrian and bike-friendly cities, so now we have that and public transit. That's good. I love riding my bike, but I almost never did it because I was so afraid of being hit by a car. It's good that I banned cars, now you don't have to get hit. Now that the bike paths have improved, it's much safer and more pleasant. And with how walkable cities have become, I don't even need to take my bike half the time. That's good, we should do that in real life. Advances in ecosystem modeling. It's amazing that we can now diagnose specialized issues like species decline in a matter of minutes instead of years. Well, for example, our fish population had a sudden decline, and we found that it was due to cooler temperatures attracting more predators in the area. Search for extraterrestrial life. Wow, I just had a vision. The spacer has a nice image. Did you see it too? I don't know what you mean. It was so detailed. Was it a message from beyond the stars? I guess they never solved this mystery, this question. Perennial cereals. I love these new perennials. Saves me a lot of work. Don't need to worry about replanting them every year or messing up my soil. Any change where I have to work less is a welcome one. Extra animals. With the move away from meat consumption, livestock operations are stuck with billions of animals and nothing to do with them. Just give them a proper life for the years that they will live. It's not so hard, you don't have to eat them. We can't release them into the wild because that would wreak havoc on ecosystems. Yeah, then just don't do it, I don't know. Yeah, create public sanctuaries where they can live out their final days. I wouldn't want to throw a series of feasts and eat them, that would be evil. So, next gen solar PV. This new generation of photovoltaic cells have astounding efficiency improvements. It makes all sorts of applications feasible now. Phase out commercial fishing. That's nice, it reduces the biodiversity pressure by 13 and CO2 emissions by 3.6. I guess that's gigatons per year. And it reduces the demand for animal-based food, even though a vegan mandate is in place already. Biodiversity in the oceans is bouncing back. We've seen recovery of old oyster beds and the return of massive schools of cod and sardines. Electric arc furnaces. I guess some of these I have already used in Factorio. We've improved efficiency of this process and converted existing steel manufacturing facilities to use it. Electrify road vehicles. Electrifying automobiles significantly decreased transport emissions and did wonders for urban air pollution, but at a high cost in electricity and lithium, without doing anything to improve transportation access or traffic deaths. I feel like this dialogue also doesn't need to be here if I have already implemented ban cars. Maybe you should reconsider the dominance of cars in our public infrastructure. Yes, I did that already. This game is not interactive enough, I feel. Energy conservation campaign. Okay, that's now done, that's good. It took some time, but people have come around to seeing that a low energy lifestyle doesn't mean giving up a good quality of life. Bioenergy, carbon capture and sequestration, also called BECCS. I think we have worked out the last kinks that prevented us from scaling up BECCS. Looks like I should start clearing some land, we're gonna need it for all those new tree plantations. I guess you don't really need to do that. You've already reduced the land already by not having animals around. So now there is acid rain. Either solar radiation management or coal power plants have caused acid rain to return. But you can't make an omelette without breaking a few eggs, right? Yeah, I guess you could just make vegan omelette. That would be an option. The acid eats away at concrete, causes forest death and kills lakes. There's a bit more flooding happening, but I guess no more brownouts and blackouts at least. Reconcile town and country, increases food production and world contentedness. And also the output of smallholder farms. quite a lot of people have made the move to the countryside. Organic and fossil-free agriculture requires more labor than industrial farming. Most have reported it as an improvement in their quality of life. I guess I would like that too, if I had the option to move to the countryside. It's a lot quieter and the fresh air has done wonders for me. Drought-resistant crops. Droughts aren't nearly as devastating as they once were, thanks to these new varieties. They're especially welcomed in regions normally at high risk for water shortages. Glad I can rest a bit easier now, says the farmer. The Economist says the food waste campaign has been very successful. We have a reliable stream of extra organic material too. We could process this into biomaterials such as chitin from crab shells. I don't know why. We don't use crab shells anymore, and streamline the process for large-scale production. So Southern Africa has increased in income. The vaquita porpoise declared extinct. That's quite sad. And I had a lot of playthroughs already of this game, and I think I always had that, and I couldn't really avoid this. Phase out commercial fishing. Can it? I wonder why. Does this mean, or does this happen when there are other sea animals that kill this porpoise, and I shouldn't have made fishing obsolete, I guess? I don't know. But maybe that would have happened naturally anyway. What have we done? I don't know how that happened. Biochar reduces emissions by a bit, and it increases plant-based food production. Good to know that the soil can hold carbon for centuries. That's a good idea. I wish I could just click on that like it was the card in the research or infrastructure panel and see what this does exactly. Regenerative agriculture. Adaptations like non-tillage and cover crops made a notable difference in terms of carbon and water retention in soil. And that's the report. I have a lot of positive points now because of a lot of completed projects, and the emissions have gone down to minus 11.8. So this is a very good thing. Also, the temperature has not gone above 1.2 degrees, and there were not as many disasters. The 5th planning session in Paris. People are ecstatic, biodiversity is flourishing, the world is recovering, and Parliament trusts you completely. That's nice. And the animal liberationist says, I feel like you truly have the interests of non-human life at heart. Not many feel the same way. My party will join your coalition. Non-humans will finally have a voice in government. So food projects are now much cheaper, and it reduces biodiversity pressure as well. And the accelerationist says I am misguided, taking us away from limitless prosperity for everyone. I could still do that, but first I have to save the planet, you know. I'll do whatever I can to stop you. Well, you can try. If you think you will achieve anything by that. I still wish I would know what this meant. There should be a scale there somewhere, how much emissions and land use that actually is. Let's see, I guess I will go down with hydropower a bit. And with nuclear power a bit more. And I will also go down with solar power 1 point and with terrestrial wind power 1 point, or maybe even 2. It's difficult to actually just have 1 point. And then I will do BECCS, I guess, which is growing a lot of trees and then burning them and storing the carbon somewhere. And I don't know why I still have blue hydrogen. I might also reduce biofuel. There's no other fuel generation there. So 15%. And then I will go up with green hydrogen. Crops. I guess I can now make more smallholder farms again. I will make 3 more, just a bit below the limit. I could probably do 45 there. And this is still in the process of going down. So there are still actual animals farmed, but it's less than... much less than at the start. Currently I'm at minus 15.5 gigatons of carbon emissions. That's quite good. Let's see what I can do with the 297 points. I guess I might do the accelerationist curriculum. That doesn't mean I have to do anything about it. We'll also do the consumerist curriculum. And I guess I would do the degrowth, which will certainly help reduce emissions even more. Not sure if I need energy quotas. Maybe I could do this. And I could now also do this, which will... yeah, people won't work as long and instead enjoy more leisure time. Energy use will go down substantially, and but projects will also take longer to finish. That's okay, because we already have finished a lot of projects. Costs 1 planning cycle. I don't really know what this sentence means. Doesn't really make sense as a sentence, I guess. So energy quotas is quite expensive. I would only do that if I don't have to spend a lot of points in other things. But I will keep that in mind. I might do more Esperanto, making the utopian happy. Mass electrification seems like a nice idea. Get all the points and also go away you. Okay, I don't really know if I want to do or need to do rotational grazing, since I don't really keep animals anyway. Space elevator, I don't really know how much I want to do that. One problem with this game, or another problem with this game, is that after you have reached the necessary conditions to win the game just stops and you can't really go beyond that. Guess I don't really need more of this. I guess I will do full automation. I like automation, as you might know. But maybe not as much as that. I still would rather like to do the energy quotas as well. So that is something that has priority. I will just look if there's anything else here that I want to do. Maybe I'll just spend 2 points on this. Restore desert habitats. This might increase the temperature for a bit. I guess the contentedness is high enough to just decrease it by introducing energy quotas. I already have the degrowth and developed regions. I think I did that this cycle. And I didn't really look at the research projects. I don't know when I would like the de-extinction to be done. But that's a thing that could happen. So basically mammoths and other animals can be reintroduced into nature. I might do one more. Then it's faster. And now I can spend 3 more points on things here. Maybe the automation. I can just use my arrow keys to go between these things, but I can't use the up key for making this go up 1 level. So this is a thing that I would change if I could. I guess I would invest more points in Space Colony and Space Elevator. I guess I did everything that I wanted. Emissions will probably still be negative. I'll just say ready, and then we will have the next 5 years go by. So the algae farmers in Lake Chad and seaweed farmers in Jambiani have expanded their harvest and processing operation. They are now a major exporter of food-grade algae and seaweed. For many generations, Kanembu women have passed from mother to daughter the traditional methods of harvesting spirulina from Lake Budu Anja in Chad to make dihe. What's dihe? It's a pressed cake of spirulina sold in local markets and used as a sauce base, kind of like curry brick. Like a curry brick. Interesting. I think I should actually note that down. Maybe I could buy that somehow. If that's an actual, still really existing thing. Cogeneration increases output for combustion processes. If we've still got to combust things for energy, this is at least an improvement. Southeastern Asia has gone up. The Leather Underground is an organization that has now formed. Planner, how can you force these kinds of dietary restrictions on us? Because it's necessary, I guess. Humans are omnivores, we need to eat meat. I totally disagree. You could just shut up and eat your leather. And none of these silly substitutes can ever replicate the real thing. Yeah, I guess you just have to get used to the silly substitutes then. You must reconsider this oppressive mandate. I don't know what you want to achieve or how you want to achieve that. So this can occur if vegan mandate is active or if vegetarian mandate is active. That's fine. Lots of flooding is happening. Now we have alternative refrigerants. We weren't able to find a refrigerant that checked off all the boxes. Some had health and safety risks, some were less efficient, some had further environmental issues, or were themselves potent greenhouse gases. Though funnily enough we settled on R744 carbon dioxide as a natural refrigerant. It's not the most efficient though. Remediate and protect ecosystems. So many places are gradually becoming themselves again after decades of exploitation and neglect. It's a beautiful sight to behold. Okay, feminist citizen scientists. I guess this is an event that happened. I guess they are making some requests, but I think most of these requests have already been made. Or is that happening because these things are happening? By the mixed share of petroleum and nuclear power. I guess I could reduce nuclear power all the way. And then I guess I will get political capital. We can't build homes on top of toxic landfills and near nuclear power plants, that's true. The eco-feminist movement is strong and will mobilize quickly against environmental injustices. We need to shift more quickly to renewable energy. Phage therapy has been researched. It was a major effort, but it will be worthwhile. AMR thinks something like multi-resistant, I'm not sure. Antibiotic multi-resistance, I'm not sure. Might kill 10 million people a year. I guess I will just do research what AMR is. Antimicrobial resistance. Good to know. It would be better if we addressed the causes of AMR by shrinking the industrial livestock industry. I already did that. And improving the living standards in the global south. I guess I might have not completely done that already, but I could still do that. The income levels in Central America has gone up. And in the Caribbean, eutrophication, a problem solved. I guess that's good. Dissolved nutrient levels at lakes and river deltas around the world have drastically improved. By designing efficient food systems and treating waste, we've brought the dead zones to life. I guess this is the most reading I have ever done in a stream so far. sort of feel like I wouldn't want to do that too often. But yeah, mass electrification, you hear that? No more roaring and rattling of engines, the sputtering and belching of combustion. Just the sweet hum of electricity. Music to my ears. New wines in old biomes. I was helping out with a local remediation project and we were clearing out some invasive plants that were upsetting the local ecosystem. Turns out you can ferment them into a pretty nice refreshment. Now I'm seeing everyone volunteer at remediation sites to see what they can brew up. More wildfires are happening and Esperanto has been completed, whatever that means. I will not read that, I still need to try learning Esperanto on Duolingo to understand that. I think Anglan is English, Lernu is learning. Yeah, I guess there's a lot of things to learn still. Direct air capture. This sucks air, I guess. It's not a huge amount though, and it needs a lot of energy. Yeah, I guess it would be nice to also control the level of how much of this is done. So it's not just done when it's built and always has to be at 100%. Can I? You can expand the deck capacity in the planning tool if you want. I should write that down and try that. I don't know if that's actually possible or if that's just a lie. Biofabrication. We've shifted quite a lot of petroleum-based plastic to these new biofabrication methods. But even though we use far less plastic than we did pre-revolution, the amount of biomass available still isn't enough to fully replace petroleum-based plastics. Still, we are at least introducing less new CO2 into the atmosphere by avoiding some fossil fuel usage. Eastern Africa has gone up in income. The accelerationist curriculum has been researched. Our children will become the Prometheans of tomorrow. I want to research that term as well. It will probably be some accelerationist speak. Consumerist curriculum. Education is about training people for jobs that pay well. I don't think so, but you do you. These jobs might not be fun, but you can afford that fancy electric car or a trip to Cuba or the beach, not the planning bureau. Well, I never really liked beaches. Degrowth in developed regions. What are you doing, says the consumerist. You're supposed to make things better, not worse. Well, I'm just increasing the quality of life and decreasing the quantity of products consumed. Isn't that good? It's about time that we recognize who the main perpetrators of all these crises are. Some words are difficult, I guess. This kind of regression isn't necessary. That's what you say. With the right technology and conditions, no one has to give anything up. That's true. But we're not yet at that level of technology and conditions. I don't really understand this. I mean, I'm not French. I don't understand much French. So we now have more leisure time. Socialism is for the working class, but it isn't about work. Just chill, comrade. Energy quotas. Reducing energy consumption is an easy way to protect the grid and minimize environmental impact. It's a really good idea. These restrictions have been ridiculous. Really? Are you amused? How can anyone survive on such a pathetic amount of energy? I've lived decently on less energy than this. I'm sure you'll get used to it. I agree. I'm sure I won't. Yeah, well, then you won't get used to it. Sad for you. Okay, we have 127 more political capital. The emissions have gone down even more, and the temperature has gone down. I guess we're now at the starting temperature. I might possibly get my earliest win ever. I'm not sure what my earliest win so far was. I'm at the year 2045 now. Let's just say next. Bandung. The 6th planning session. Let's just go and look at emissions and land use. I don't know where I could put in the DAX. So there are stats. I don't know what the sand clock thing means there. And we have now over, I think, 2/3 unused land. That's quite good. Water, this doesn't really show anything. I wonder why. This might be a bug. I guess this is probably because we have negative emissions. I don't think we have negative water use. Biodiversity. No idea how this is to be interpreted. Fuel. That's the fuel use. I guess I'm still phasing out blue hydrogen. Animal calories are still being produced, but probably quite few. Energy. I guess that's fine. And here at World, I can theoretically go to many different places on the world and even zoom in there. And I can select certain parts of the world. But when I select something, it weirdly rotates the world in a way that I don't appreciate. But there I can see the consumption levels, I guess. I will also hydrate a bit now that I see all the water. Anyway, let's go to change production. There is BECCS, but I want to decrease the nuclear power all the way and maybe increase solar PV, since we now have more efficient solar power than ever. And yeah, I guess let's go away from blue hydrogen and away from one of the biofuels, and I will do green hydrogen, crops, I hope this still works. And now let's look at what I can do policy-wise. I think this is not very nice to people. This basically makes you pay in carbon allowance if you have children or something, or I don't know if that would then cost more or something. So remove fetters on the forces of production. The Fanonist is in favor of that, and the Accelerationist and the Consumerist. So this basically means that the underdeveloped or currently underdeveloped regions get more income and wealth is spread a bit more equally. And I'm in favor of that. If I still have available points, I will do these things, even though I don't really think that they should do much. I think this is going to actually happen in the next planning phase. I might just research that anyway, but I mean, cattle shouldn't really be kept anymore. Maybe there's still just some nature reserves where there's cattle, but they should just be able to eat the grass. Global demilitarization, I will take all of this. Let's just demilitarize a lot. And the continental smart grid is done soon. I will also do more automation. And what else can I do? Or what else do I want to do? I guess I will do more space colony and space elevator. Not really sure how much that actually does. And maybe now I will do one of these things. Probably a factory farming reform. If anyone is still doing factory farming for some reason, then that will be reformed. I don't get why this exists, but anyway. So let's see. These are all the cards that I have implemented or that I'm about to implement. I'm not sure if this is sorted somehow. I would like to see if I could look at the thing with C, or I guess it's called DEX. I think I would recognize the image if I saw it. Direct air capture. It says next level there. Level NAN. I think that might be a thing that they didn't properly implement. So I guess there's a lot of potential in this game, and what there's currently in this game isn't really all that there could be. Especially the controls are something that one has to get used to. I guess I will research that anyway. let's do space elevator. I guess it will not get done before I win the game. Let's just continue. There are brownouts for some reason. Not sure why. We now have 3rd generation biofuels. A genetically altered strain of Nanochloropsis is able to produce a higher concentration of lipids for biofuel and butanol. We can now grow and deploy algae-based biofuels at scale. Northern Europe has gone down in income level, that's because of the degrowth. I guess that's fine, things should be cheaper by now. Australasia has gone down. Western Europe has gone down. Caribbean has gone down. Northern America has gone down. Recovery in the Niger Delta. The area around the Niger Delta was brought to the edge of total destruction from unrestrained oil production. Yeah, I guess I decreased oil and nuclear production all the way to 0. Thankfully, shutting down the oil industry and restoring the environment have done wonders for the region. Populations of red colobus and pygmy hippos have bounced back. Local inhabitants are also much healthier and happier than before. Carbon capture and sequestration. We were able to reduce emissions somewhat, but leaks and upstream emissions limited the overall amount. Okay. I sometimes do have to think about what is meant. This is not DAX and this is not BEX. This is not direct air capture, and this is also not the bioenergy and carbon capture and storage. This is carbon capture and sequestration. This basically attaches to the industry and captures all the carbon that still comes out of there. Continental smart grid. I guess now the brownouts and blackouts should go down significantly. We've successfully integrated more renewable energy due to the smart grid's ability to respond to demand and reduce the chance of blackouts. Biosphere 3. We managed to create a self-sustaining environment, a necessary step for manned space exploration. I think there should be a better word for that. Central Asia developed, and now urban gardening is happening. I guess that's a thing that can just happen. I was talking to a friend in the city and they were describing to me how trendy it is to have a small urban garden. Most of these gardens are modest, but they are able to grow quite a bit of food for the community. Plus, people are getting a kick out of eating food they've had a hand in growing themselves. Green roofs. Did you know that green roofs can reflect up to 80% of solar energy hitting it back into space? I didn't know that. I thought green also accepted a lot of solar radiation. I've noticed that my apartment's temperature is much more consistent now. My kids stopped complaining as much, at least. And it's nice to have an additional green space to enjoy. That's true. Clean air increases world contentedness by 3. The doctor says the tests are in. Declining fossil fuel combustion has meant a drastic drop in air pollution. The citizen says my skin feels so much better and my daughter has barely needed her inhaler in recent years. So many fewer respiratory illnesses and other complications, saving millions of lives a year. There are still some brownouts. I wonder why. Passive building mandate and retrofit. So this reduces the fuel and energy demand for buildings a lot. And this unlocks green roofs, even though I already have green roofs, I guess. Some things just unlock things that are already unlocked by other things as well. So then this shows up there in a weird pattern. Anyway, it was a fair bit of work, but everyone appreciates upgrading old housing stock. I myself love the calm silence of a passive house. HVAC can be so noisy. Long-range electric aviation. Development of hydrogen technology led to fuel cell adaptations, allowing much lighter electric aircraft. Northern Africa has gone up in income. I don't really understand this, or I couldn't pronounce this word. As Donna Haraway once said, tentacularity is about life lived along lines, not at points, not in spheres. Interesting, maybe I should read that or read more from Donna Haraway. We are all compost, not post-human. Interesting thing to say. I guess at some point people are compost. Western Africa has developed. Remove fetters on the forces of production. Basically, underdeveloped regions develop more quickly. It's nice to have a resource. It's nice to have resources directed towards our countries for once. Factory farming reform. You should feel guilty about eating meat. It's a vegan mandate, you know. It's weird that that shows up after a vegan mandate, anyway. But it's gotten harder to find meat, yeah, that's good. Which you should be happy about. Less animals are suffering. Slaughterhouse jobs have also gotten much less grim, yeah, since they shouldn't exist anymore. A bigger cage is still a cage, and a death sentence still a death sentence. That is true. Emissions have gone slightly up, but they are still negative. Temperature is now at 1.0 degrees. I guess I might have won the game, because the task was to get to 1.0. Sadly, that would then also mean that the game is over, but I will have to see whether the brownouts do anything bad. Next. Okay, people are ecstatic, biodiversity is flourishing, the world is recovering, Parliament is ready to work with you. I guess I haven't yet won. So this is from Continental. I'm not sure what kind of company that is. I have seen that. Might have to do with cars, maybe. But yeah, if there are vegan-approved cars, that's also a good development. Even if they are still cars. Change production. I guess I could now... I guess I will still keep bags available. I might also go down completely with hydropower. Not sure. I guess there are always some dams that can work damn well. Oh, there's now algae biofuels. But this also has a lot of negative stuff, probably. However, I might do one of them just for testing. So I guess the de-extinction program will be ready after the next planning phase, as well as the full automation, or mostly full automation, and maybe the global demilitarization. I might spend more points on these very spacey things. Space elevator. I guess it would be nice at some point if I were to develop this game a bit further to also include more space exploration and things that can be done after the planet has been saved. Not sure if I want this. This definitely increases the world contentedness. I guess it's tires. It's good to know that tires are made without animals, in some cases. I didn't even know how animals were used in the production of tires. It's really tiring that animals are used everywhere. I guess I want to look at the water supply. Maybe 45% is still not good, but just increasing this by 4 or 5 might not be that good. But I guess I will always need some water for making stuff for humans. We're now at 9.6 billion humans. I guess I don't have a majority in government at the moment. I guess that changed over the years. The authoritarian and the accelerationist have 5 seats each. I don't know if I can win over the accelerationist somehow. Maybe I don't really want to. I might just, for fun, research fast breeder reactors and nuclear fission and fusion. Not sure if that will do anything for the accelerationist. But I also don't really need to win them over. Policies. I guess I might do this. I'm all for a lot of fun, a lot of entertainment, if other needs of everyone are met. And if the fun doesn't hurt the world somehow. Let's see. I guess I have done everything that I need. Let's get ready for the next things. Pollinator decline. That's not good. Pollinator populations are declining to dangerously low levels. Crop yields have been a bit lower than expected. This might be why. The use of pesticides likely contributes to colony collapse disorder. I thought I had reduced all the pesticides and stuff like that. Bees may be small, but they are a crucial part of modern farming. Sure. I guess there's a lot less flooding and wildfires now. Unrest. Why is that? I thought people are happy. I guess some regions who had to degrow are not as happy, and I don't know if something should be on this panel, but maybe it wasn't added. Some regions are really unhappy with your decisions, protests cropping up everywhere. Your plans have only brought us... What? Only brought us only hardship? Good to know. I don't see any more catastrophes happening. Can't you be happy about that? Rare metals shortage, that can sometimes happen. We've been engaged in a lot of big projects recently, which is good, but bottlenecks are inevitable. I suggest either running fewer competing projects, or we could start deep sea mining. I guess not. So now we have mostly full automation. We are able to shorten the work week while still maintaining high rates of production. Ecotopia. I also would like to at some point research this book. Good to know. Global demilitarization increases happiness and reduces emissions, and this also reduces the chance of rare metals shortage. I don't know if that affects the thing that just happened. I mean, there's just a rare metals shortage. If I had programmed the game, I would make this basically nullify the rare metals shortage, because you can recycle a lot more of the tanks and stuff to get all the stuff you need. Demilitarization resulted in a significant drop in global emissions, as well as an increase in global outlook and untold tons of salvageable metals. Yeah, that's what I mean. We're totally defenseless now. Yeah, against whom? If we have a world without borders, we don't need any defense. Yeah, I guess I don't need your help, authoritarian. You can go in your prison that you like so much. The religious scientific community is making great strides to recreate the exact species that would have been on Noah's Ark. Interesting. And why? I love watching old shows that I've already seen a dozen times. I agree. Yeah, I guess it's the nostalgia. So, we are now at 0.9 degrees compared to pre-industrial levels, I guess. Emissions have gone down even more. And I guess happiness and extinction rate are also in a good spot. And there's just been one severe flooding in 5 years. I guess that's better than we have now in real life. Let's just go on, I think. Yeah. This might be a win. I can't believe it, but looking at all the numbers, we've done it. This is probably the first time in centuries that we can confidently say we are leaving a better planet for future generations. We've undone so much of centuries of damage on people and the planet, and have a stronger foundation to continue improving. You step back from your planning console and let out a sigh. The weight of a decades-long career shedding from your shoulders. You managed to last all this time. But how has everyone else fared? So many unpopular and damaging decisions. Were they necessary, or did you just fumble your way through them? You can't help but wonder how things could have gone differently. Was this the only way? Probably not. Was the way I just chose? Well played. So, planetary life has flourished under your tenure. You helped electrify the world. Renewables dominated energy production, and global diets shifted towards vegan. Me and the eco-feminists ushered the world into a prosperous future. I guess that's a sort of share pick for Twitter, which, I mean, Twitter doesn't really exist anymore, so who knows? So, I guess we have done the game. And I wish I could actually continue with my space colony and things like that. So I guess I have to reprogram the game to make this all available, which probably might take a few years and a lack of motivation. So maybe someday this game might get an improvement, I'm not sure. I guess I'll just go and raid now.